The USA haven't won back-to-back World Cup matches since 1930. Let that land for a second. 96 years, 2 world wars, 12 different presidents, and not once has this country strung together consecutive victories at a World Cup. Until now, they're being asked to do exactly that. They just hammered Paraguay 4-1. Australia just shocked the planet with a 2-0 win over Turkey. 2 teams, both on 3 points, both bleeding confidence, both desperate to seal qualification with a game to spare. But here's what nobody is talking about. The blueprint to beat the USA might already exist, and Australia have it. Compact, physical, ruthless on the counter. Sound familiar? This isn't a walkover. This is a trap, and Pochettino's men might just be walking straight into it. Welcome back. If you're new here, this is Soccer Queen USA. We break down the game deeper than anyone else. No fluff, no filler, just real soccer analysis. Now, let's set the scene properly. Lumen Field, Seattle, Friday the 19th of June, 2026. The stakes couldn't be higher in Group D. This is a top-of-the-table clash at a World Cup, on home soil for the Americans. The atmosphere is going to be electric. 70,000 people draped in red, white, and blue, expecting a statement performance. And the USA gave them one last time out. Folarin Balogun scored his first World Cup goals, a brace in the first half, and Gio Reyna iced it in the dying moments as the USA collected 3 points in a historic 4-1 demolition of Paraguay in front of 70,492 fans. The most goals the USMNT have ever scored in a single World Cup match. History made immediately. But Australia? Don't sleep on them for 1 second. Goalkeeper Patrick Beach made 8 saves. Coach Tony Popovich dropped his experienced captain Matty Ryan, started 10 World Cup debutants, and they kept a clean sheet and beat Turkey 2-0. Turkey, a team packed with Champions League players, Arda Güler, Hakan Çalhanoğlu, Kenan Yıldız, neutralized completely. Turkey maintained 72% possession, outshot Australia 30-9, and still couldn't score. That's not luck. That's a tactical masterpiece. So here we are. 2 teams, 6 points available. The winner takes a commanding grip on the group and all but books a knockout round berth. The loser? Suddenly nervous, looking over their shoulder at Turkey and Paraguay. Today, I'm going to cover 3 things. First, why Balogun versus Australia's back 3 is the defining individual battle of this match. Second, why Australia's counterattacking system is genuinely dangerous for this USA side. And third, the Pulisic factor and what his fitness means for everything. Let's go. Point 1. Balogun versus Australia's back 3. This is where the game is won or lost. Let's start with the most dangerous man on the pitch, Folarin Balogun. 24 years old, born in Brooklyn, raised in London, came through the Arsenal Academy, and right now, he is absolutely on fire. His first goal was a slick finish off Pulisic's pass. His second, he collected a through ball from Malik Tillman, shrugged off a defender, dribbled to his left, and delivered a venomous strike into the top left corner of the goal. That second goal, watch it back. That is world-class finishing. That is not a striker getting lucky. That is a man who knows exactly what he's doing at the biggest stage in soccer. Pulisic himself said it after the match. The kid's insane. He's lethal right now. We're really lucky to have him. When your captain says that about your striker, you know you have something special. But here's what the mainstream narrative is missing. Everyone is talking about Balogun's goals. Nobody is talking about how he gets into those positions. His movement off the ball is elite. The way he pulls center backs out of shape creates channels for Pulisic and McKennie to exploit. That's the real weapon. The goals are the symptom. The intelligence is the disease. Now, Australia are setting up in a 3-4-2-1 with a back three of Cameron Burgess, Alessandra Circati, and Harry Suter. That back three is big, physical, organized. On paper, it looks like a wall. But here's the thing. A back three only works when the wingbacks are disciplined and the shape stays compact. The moment Balogun drags one of those center backs wide, and he will, gaps open centrally. Wingbacks Jordan Boss and Jacob Italiano will be pushed forward at times because that's how Australia's system generates attacks. And the second they go, Balogun has a foot race with Burgess or Suter in open space. Guess who wins that foot race? Australia's back three beat Turkey, but Turkey's striker wasn't Folarin Balogun. This is a completely different problem. And I genuinely don't think Tony Popovich has the personnel to solve it man for man. He'll have to solve it collectively, and that requires absolute discipline from every single player for 90 minutes. One lapse, one moment of individual error, and Balogun punishes you. He's shown it already. My verdict on point one, Balogun scores today. I'm not hedging on that. The matchup favors him too heavily. Point 2. Australia's counterattacking system is a genuine threat, and the USA aren't as solid at the back as people think. Now, here's where I'm going to challenge the room, because the consensus right now is that the USA are cruising. 4 goals against Paraguay. Balogun in form. Home crowd. Job done, right? Wrong. Australia outworked a Turkey side that had 72% possession and 30 shots. They absorbed everything. And then they hit on the counter with clinical, ruthless efficiency. That's not a fluke. That's a blueprint. And that blueprint works specifically against teams who dominate possession and push their fullbacks high, which is exactly how Pochettino wants to play. Anthony Robinson on the left, Serginho Dest on the right. Both of them love to get forward. Both of them leave space in behind when they do. Irankunda's opening goal against Turkey came from a long ball that split the Turkish defense, sending him racing in on goal to score. That is pace behind a high defensive line. That is the exact scenario that troubles the USA's center backs when the shape stretches. And Irankunda, let's talk about him for a second. He became Australia's youngest ever World Cup scorer at just 20 years and 125 days. 20 years old, on the biggest stage in soccer, and he looked like he'd been there his whole life. The kid has no fear. None. Metcalfe then collected a loose ball inside the Turkey half, advanced on goal, and cracked a low shot from 25 yards that beat the goalkeeper completely. 2 goals. 2 completely different types of goal. That tells you Australia aren't a one-trick pony on the counter. Here's what most people are missing. The USA's defense hasn't truly been tested yet. Paraguay are not Turkey, and Turkey are not Australia. Tim Ream, at 38 years old, is marshalling that back line. He was sensational against Paraguay. But pace in behind, in a high-intensity game, against Irankunda running at full speed, that is a different question entirely. My verdict on point 2, Australia will create at least 2 clear chances today. Whether they take them is another matter. But anyone saying the USA defense is airtight hasn't watched this Australian attack properly. Point 3. The Pulisic factor. This match hinges entirely on one man's fitness. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Christian Pulisic. Against Paraguay, after the USA raced to a 3-0 lead, Pulisic went down with an injury and was substituted off at halftime. And suddenly, everything changed. The energy dropped. The creativity dried up. Paraguay pulled one back. The game became uncomfortable. That is not a coincidence. That is cause and effect. Pulisic has been training individually and will be assessed late ahead of kickoff. The expectation within the camp is that he starts if ruled fit, in an otherwise unchanged side. So we're walking into a must-watch Group D clash with the USA's most important player as a genuine doubt. Think about that. Here's what Pulisic brings that nobody else in this squad replicates. He doesn't just score goals and create chances. He controls the tempo of the entire American attack. When Pulisic is on the ball in tight spaces, defenders have to commit. That commitment creates the space Balogun exploits. It creates the lanes McKennie runs into. It creates the chaos that unlocks organized defenses. Against Paraguay, Pulisic recorded his third career World Cup assist, and he did it before halftime, after which he didn't play a single minute. 3 assists in World Cup history, and he's been fully fit for maybe 90 minutes of actual tournament soccer. Imagine what a complete, fully firing Pulisic does to Australia's compact defensive block over 90 minutes. But here's the other side of the coin, and this is where I challenge the mainstream take again. Everyone is acting like a fit Pulisic is an automatic solution. It isn't. Australia's 3-4-2-1 is specifically designed to overload central areas and funnel attacking threats wide. Nestory Irankunda and Metcalfe play off Mohamed Touré in positions designed to press aggressively and win the ball high. Pulisic operating in those central half spaces, which is his favorite territory, is going to face intense pressing from the moment he receives the ball. If he's carrying even a 5 or 10% physical limitation, Australia will find it. They will target him. They will press him harder than Paraguay ever did. And a half-fit Pulisic trying to play through a niggle against a team this well-organized could actually hurt the USA more than simply starting Reina, who, let's not forget, scored a sublime stoppage-time goal against Paraguay and is pushing hard for a starting spot. Pochettino has a real decision to make here, and I think he gets it wrong if he rushes Pulisic back before he's 100% ready. The hot take, and I'm going all in on this one. Everyone is picking the USA to win this comfortably. 3 goals, Balogun hat trick, Australia brushed aside, home crowd going wild, story written before kickoff. I'm not buying it. Here is my bold, specific, confident verdict. Australia hold the USA to a 1-1 draw, and it is Australia who feel like they should have won it. Here's exactly why. Pochettino starts Pulisic despite the fitness concern because the pressure of a home World Cup demands it. Pulisic struggles with the physical intensity. Australia's press suffocates the USA's midfield buildup in ways Paraguay never could. Irankunda exposes the space behind Robinson in the first half, and Australia take a shock lead. The USA equalize, probably through Balogun, because of course they do, but they cannot find the winner against a defense that held Turkey to 0 despite being absolutely bombarded. The USA haven't won consecutive World Cup matches since 1930. That stat exists for a reason. History doesn't lie. And Australia aren't Paraguay. They aren't a team coming to Seattle to make up the numbers. They are organized, they are fearless, and they just proved against Turkey that they can grind out results against technically superior opposition. A draw sends shockwaves through this tournament, and I think that's exactly what we're about to witness. Don't say I didn't warn you. Stay with me. The conclusion is coming, and I'm doubling down on everything. Right, let's bring this home. 3 points. 3 things you need to remember from everything we just broke down. 1. Balogun is lethal. Pulisic himself called him insane, but he faces the toughest defensive test of his young World Cup career against a back 3 built specifically to absorb pressure and suffocate strikers. 2. Australia held Turkey to 0, despite facing 30 shots and 72% possession. Their counterattacking blueprint is real. It is dangerous, and the USA's high defensive line with aging legs at center back is the exact vulnerability Irankunda and Metcalfe will hunt from the first whistle. 3. The Pulisic fitness situation is not a sideshow. It is the story of this match. He's been training individually and will be assessed late. Rush him back, and you risk the entire tournament. Leave him out, and you lose your creative heartbeat against the most organized defense the USA have faced in this competition. There is no easy answer, and Pochettino's call on that one decision could define America's entire World Cup. Now, my final verdict, and I'm going even bolder than before. This USA team is talented, genuinely talented. They scored the most goals in program history for a single World Cup match against Paraguay. Balogun is a generational find. The crowd in Seattle will be absolutely thunderous. All of that is real. But talent doesn't beat a system, not automatically. Not when the system is this well-drilled and this disciplined. Tony Popovich pulled off one of the great tactical upsets of this tournament already, starting 10 World Cup debutants and keeping a clean sheet against a Champions League-laden Turkey side. This man knows exactly what he's doing. He will not come to Seattle and park the bus passively. He will set a trap, a specific, intelligent, ruthless trap. And I believe Australia spring it. 1-1, full time, Seattle stunned. Group D thrown wide open. Write it down, screenshot this, come back after the final whistle. Now here's the debate I want you to settle in the comments right now. If Pulisic isn't fully fit, who should start in his place? Gio Reyna? Or does Pochettino reshape the entire attack and trust the system that already destroyed Paraguay? That's not a simple question. That is a genuine tactical dilemma with real consequences for America's World Cup. I want your answer. Drop it below. Let's actually debate this properly. And listen, if this breakdown gave you something the mainstream coverage didn't, if we made you think about this match differently, then you already know what to do. Hit subscribe. Because this is what we do here, every single match day of this World Cup. Deep analysis, real opinions, no fence sitting. The beautiful game deserves better than boring takes. And so do you. See you after the final whistle.